That's because I think I'm good.
All right. So
Then I need to hit this button over here. Okay, I'm seeing Twitch, Facebook, and I can just barely make out us on YouTube.
Excellent.
So we're good.
All right. Hey guys, this is Jacob.
This is Drew.
And we're the Cellcast. Hey, we are doing for a huge correction because apparently there's been a misunderstanding. We are doing Arthur's Christmas.
No, not Arthur's Christmas. It's just Arthur Christmas.
Arthur.
That's his name.
Arthur Christmas. Okay, I thought it was Arthur's Christmas for the longest time, but it's Arthur Christmas.
Well, it's British.
Yeah.
And you know, they like to call Santa Claus Father Christmas, except we're dealing with his son Arthur, so it's Arthur Christmas.
That makes sense. But either
That's
way,
the thought process behind it. Thank you, Aardman Productions.
Yes, thank you.
Making everything British.
Of course.
Sorry, I said that wrong. British. You can't use the T.
British.
Because they've been hiding it since that incident in Boston about 300 years ago.
So yeah, we'll be doing
Joke.
Arthur Christmas. Not to confuse with a
certain Aardvark.
Aardvark from CBS. We're not doing a special from his.
I can't even tell you if he has a Christmas special.
I'm pretty sure
I don't know if I ever watched Arthur.
I didn't. Up. I think I grown at a animation like that by the time Arthur had come out.
Most of what I know of Arthur are from memes. Like the one with him angry, that little fist of his.
Oh, okay.
And that there's this one shot of him wearing headphones. Here while his ears
are up here. Oh my gosh.
And you do still have to wonder how he wears glasses like that.
That is true. They didn't think about the logistics of ears up here.
Well, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, either way. So yeah, if you haven't or have not watched Arthur Christmas, it's available on Hulu if you have our subscription to Hulu. And you can go watch it there. If you have watched it, comment down below what you thought of the film, and let's get a conversation started, and let's have fun with this. And we're gonna get started very shortly with our review of Arthur Christmas.
At least got one person on watching us at the moment, which is of course Josh.
Hey Josh.
He says they drink all the tea.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, he says, fun fact, the Angry Fist meme comes from the episode where he punches his little sister.
Okay.
I suspect DW had it coming for many, many years.
Probably. I think
no, I've never had a younger sibling, much less a little sister. So
I have younger siblings. Have I punched them before? Yes, then they squished me.
Yeah, let's say that. That's a bunch of guys. It's kind of expected.
Yeah, that's true. Well, when we were growing up, we weren't allowed to get into fights.
That's not saying you didn't get into.
Oh
fights.
yeah, we got in the scuffles. We never went, to knuckle to knuckle. We just kind of, a fist got thrown into a body, and then it went to the floor. That's about it.
Okay.
So yeah, if you if you watch the film, great. Comment down below. If you haven't, you can go watch it on Hulu if you are subscribed to Hulu, and let us know down below what you thought of the film. And I'm a mixed feeling about this film. Let's just say that.
I had a feeling this was not going to quite be your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Pardon the early pun.
No. It wasn't a certain Star Trek captain with its hot,
It's Earl Grey.
Earl Grey and hot.
Yes.
But either way, so if you want to come in and just hang out, chat, would be great. So, and get a community rolling, and we can start.
Josh says he remembers a certain one of those brothers trying to convince him that he wasn't his cousin. I'm going to guess Jim.
Jim or Daniel?
Well, it has to be one of the two. I'm just guessing Jim because I don't know Daniel very well. I don't think I've not even met Daniel.
Oh, okay.
And I can just see a young Jim doing this.
It would be Jim. I'd presume it'd be Jim. I don't think it would be me because I don't want to. I don't think I would do
I
that.
said one of your brothers, so I'm assuming that excludes you.
Possibly.
But anyway.
But I do get confused for like, it's like, oh, you're the youngest son. It's like, oh, I'm not. I'm actually the oldest.
I wouldn't know. Like I said, I've not met Daniel.
Exactly.
Oh, Josh says it was Daniel.
Oh, go figure.
So now that we're done airing out your family's dirty laundry, let me do one last little thing. How does our beep sound?
That worked.
Worked on our end, as long as the speaker stays on.
Mm-hmm. The turn off.
Oh, it'll turn off. It's just how quickly will I notice it.
Mm-hmm.
Josh says it's nice and loud, so I guess we are ready to go. Do you have a pun for me?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Do I have a pun for you is the question.
That is
I
the
think I
billion
do.
words.
All right. Start. Are you ready?
Yeah, let me share this real fast.
Okay.
Come on.
Ah. Wish my eye would quit doing that.
Twitching.
Getting extra sensitive to light and then being not sensitive. I wish it would pick not sensitive and stay there.
Mm.
But anyway,
All right.
that's why I changed. It's why I changed up the lights up there. If you can't tell,
Hmm.
you can't. It doesn't affect anything on the video, but
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right.
although except we have a warmer light now instead of a cooler light.
Agreed.
Anyway, you ready to start?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right.
Cartoons, the animated frontier. These are the voyages of the Cellcast podcast. Its continuing mission to explore strange new cartoons, to seek out new animation styles and new creative storytelling methods, to boldly go where so few ever go again.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who, well, he knows there's always time for a bow. Welcome, Jacob.
Isn't there always time for a bow?
I know the best gifts usually come with a bow.
That is true.
At least that's what Hawkeye is teaching me.
Okay.
How are you doing? Sorry.
Why, thank you. And let me introduce our co-host, the man who just forgot one single present and then became obsessed about delivering said present, and all kinds of shenanigans ensued. Welcome, Drew.
Technically, if you're saying I'm Arthur, I'm not the one who forgot to give the present. That was Steve.
Yeah, that was Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
All right.
Anyway, how are you doing, Jake?
Man, I'm doing very well. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Enjoyable. Work is always work, and I got a lot of compliments on my shirt today. Thank you very much. Happy Christmas season for everybody.
Indeed.
And
Sorry. I'm trying to get to something else.
no, you're good, man. All right.
Hang on.
I am doing very well. It's been a very good week. It's been busy. The week has been long. The month has been long, and it's only the beginning of the month. Just think about that. It's December. It's felt like when January 2021 started, after the chaotic year of 2020. Thanks, COVID. And it's like, oh, okay, this year is going to be slow and steady. It's not going to be chaotic. Yeah.
It's
Where
been-
did that go?
Yeah. Before we get too deep into the episode, we do need to hit our trivia question for this
Yes,
week.
go for it.
What is Arthur trying to deliver in Arthur Christmas? Jacob.
What is Arthur trying to deliver? Huh? Wouldn't it be a bicycle?
Yes. And the first person to get it right this time was David Gardner.
Woo woo! Good job, David.
Although I have to wonder about David Bobke.
David Botke?
Yes, also known as That's Our Bobo on some of the other stuff.
Oh, okay.
He said Caillou's head in a box. I was curious what's going on with David.
Caillou's head in a box.
Yeah.
Let us know, David. What does that mean?
I think he just doesn't like Caillou.
Like Caillou's the which one's Caillou?
That's the bald kid on PBS.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Me either.
But then Heather Morgan says a bicycle for a girl that was missed.
Yes.
Josh Adams says a bicycle. And Paul posted a picture of Pee Wee Herman saying, "My bike."
Okay.
No,
Works.
it was not Pee Wee Herman's bike.
Yeah, that is true. Telly, it was a pink bicycle.
It was a pink bicycle, yes.
Not Steve be like, oh, here's the
Here's a purple bicycle.
Here's a
that's
purple bicycle that's much better,
technically
to the wrong house.
going the same bad directions that Grand Santa went to
Oh my gosh.
Toulouse,
Yeah, it's
Spain.
Toulouse.
No, Mexico.
Mexico.
Toulouse, Mexico.
Okay.
That happened to also have a Mimosa Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Right.
continue with how you're doing.
Doing very well. So how are you doing, Drew? Mine's you're still getting over your
I
congestion.
am on hopefully the final throes of this horrible sinus congestion.
Yeah.
You can probably still hear in my voice, but it shouldn't be as bad as it was. Depending on how I sleep, I wake up with my ear stopped up, and sometimes when I go to work, my left eye is sensitive to light.
Ugh, fun.
In fact, my eye is sensitive to light right now. A little bit to light right now. So if I start winking at y'all like this, that means nothing. That means I'm trying not to burn my eye out.
So do you need an eye patch?
Been tempted, but no. Other than that, we did the church choir did the Christmas show this last
bravo.
Sunday.
Bravo.
So that was fun. And other than that, I can't think of anything extra special. We did do that Christmas party.
We did do the Christmas party. That was fun.
No one wanted to open my present.
No. What was in yours anyway?
A book.
A book.
Which, well, I don't know where we'll have it because she ended up giving it back to me when we got back to the church. It's like, why did I bother wrapping this?
If I'm gonna return it.
So yeah, that was interesting.
That was interesting.
I had gator.
Yes, Gator's always good.
How would you know? You had chicken.
I know, but I've had Gator before.
Okay.
I've had
Okay.
fried Gator before. It's good.
Okay. Anywho, I think that's about all I've had going on. So, what have you been watching?
What have I been watching? All right, so it has been a very hectic month. I've been able to watch. We went over to Chase's house, a friend of ours, and who's been on the show before.
On our Tron episode.
Yeah, you want to go listen to that? Go find it in our
In our feed.
feed. Yeah, one of those. So we watched Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla
Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
against Godzilla.
I have to be specific
Right.
because there is another movie called Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so to clear that up, I feel like it was
Actually, I think it's Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla, but who cares? Move on.
move on. It was an interesting movie. It was entertaining. There again, I am not a huge kaiju fan, like some people are.
I don't know what you're
I
talking
don't
about.
know. Be like, yeah, look at this stuff.
I am working on a collection back here.
That is true. So, like, yeah, it was a fun film. Would I recommend it just for funs and giggles? Yes. And then I with my newfound ability to be on the internet, be in my house.
Ain't it amazing?
Yes, it is. I was going the YouTube route, just watching stuff, and I was like, oh, you can watch a certain movie that we're going to be reviewing in, I think, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. You
That
know,
would be Digimon,
yeah, that'd be Digimon.
which I've got on Blu-ray over there.
Yeah.
So you just got ahead of the game.
Yeah, I started watching like the first Digimon Adventure Try Part 1 reunion. And I started watching it and I was like, whoa, okay, this is interesting. I mean, like knowing a little bit what's going on because there again, the internet doesn't know when to shut up. I'm like, oh, okay, they introduced this new character. What is Kuwagamon doing here? And it's like, why are we fighting Kuwagamon again? And people who don't know what a Kuwagamon is, it's a big red beetle.
It's a common villain.
He's a very. I think it was like the first villain that the characters actually face when they get in the digital world in the first show.
Well, yeah, they couldn't fight the vampire guy.
No.
Devimon.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Devimon?
No, that was not Devimon. That was
It's been
that was
a long time.
the
since I watched Digimon.
vampire. That's Devimon.
That's what I said.
Yeah, Devimon. You're right. I'm thinking of another character.
Anywho,
Yeah. Either way, so yes, I'm halfway through it. The funds of internet and things going buzz sometimes. That's the internet for you.
Buzz. You're gonna have to tell me what Buzz is, because you haven't told me this story.
Okay, so I'm watching Digimon Try, and every maybe every couple of minutes, maybe every 20 minutes, the screen would freeze and go the audio would go buzz, and it would sound like it's starting to it can't catch up. It's lagging.
Okay.
Yeah, it's lagging. So apparently
YouTube is not liking you.
Yeah, YouTube is not liking me. So I get like halfway through it and be like, I'm enjoying it. And there's this much larger story. Obviously, it's 6 films.
Yeah, well, it's a whole season.
Yeah, it's a whole season, which they condense in the films.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm wanting to understand. Okay, who are these characters? Who's all these mysterious Digimon popping up? Why are these Digimon popping up?
What's so special about Maine Coonmon?
True. What is this mysterious character he's popping up in the background?
Other than he's cool because he's a Maine Coon.
Yeah, that's true.
Mon. Anyway.
Mon. All right. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. What have you been watching, Drew?
Of course, I watched Hawkeye. I'm working my way. I'm watching that. I've been watching Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
Couple YouTube videos here and there. Nothing real special. Of course, you're the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla against Mechagodzilla. I almost said the same thing. I made the same mistake you did. Other than that, watching wise, that's not been much out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Gaming wise, on the other hand,
yes.
Early access for Endwalker started Friday.
And what is Endwalker for those who don't know?
Endwalker is the latest expansion for Final Fantasy XIV, which I've been playing for 6 years now. Off and on. Not straight, obviously. I've taken breaks.
Right.
But, yeah, when it comes to a launch of a game, there's always going to be some
bugs,
something they did not plan for. For instance, 2 expansions ago at Stormblood, they put 2 what's called single player instances, like not too far from the beginning of the quests.
Okay.
Which meant 30,000 players were trying to hit it at the same time, which caused a bottleneck and caused a very boring weekend because you couldn't do anything.
I gotcha.
Except for click the same dude and watch the same cutscene over and over again. So
funds.
That was 4 years ago.
Okay.
Or 6 years ago, however long ago it was.
Right.
2 expansions ago. This expansion has gone a little bit smoother in the fact that once you're in the game, there's a lot. People are getting a lot more spread out, a lot faster. So there's less build up at the spots where like that thing I just described was.
Yeah.
Problem is getting into the game because, between the WoW refugees, the World of Warcraft refugees that have came in the course of the last year for obvious reasons and found 14's a good game. The semiconductor shortage and the worst congestion the game has had since it launched
Hmm.
It takes about 3 hours to log into the game just to play it.
Wow.
Unless you can hit it at just the right time. Guess what I've not been able to do right after work?
Log in.
Play the game. I've gotten to play, I think, about 5 hours of the game so far
Wow.
over the course of the weekend. And that's not counting waiting for it to go. I literally Saturday, while I was waiting for it to come up,
Yeah.
took a nap
Wow. Okay.
and woke up to like literally seconds before it actually finally loaded the game. And how I got that lucky, I don't know, because the other thing that's running into is sometimes depending on if you're waiting a long time, it'll
Yeah.
throw up an error message called that with an error code 2002
Hmm.
that kicks you all the way back out to typing in your password.
Oh, jeez.
So you got to hurry and get back in there before you lose your spot in line.
Hmm.
Maybe you get a little ahead, maybe you won't. So how I got lucky enough not to lose my spot in line that day, I don't know.
It's like traffic in a metroplex.
It's more like traffic at the end of a baseball game after a Major League Baseball game,
True.
while a Major League Football game is letting out at the same time,
Hmm.
and an AC/DC concert is letting out at rush hour. That's what it's like.
Okay, I gotcha.
It's one of those kind of things. You just have to sit and be patient, find something to do. I read a book one day
Wow. Okay.
before I just shut it off and said, you know what? I could be doing other things right now.
Be a little more productive with my day.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting here waiting for my turn in line to play a game.
Hearing the same melody line in the background. It's like, you know what? When I hit Q, you could just cut the sound out.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess I could have just turned the speaker off. Either way.
Right.
So, yeah. Despite all that, what I have played has been fun.
Good.
So, other than that, I guess that's about it for me.
Okay.
What do we got in the news?
What do we got in the news? All right, so let me pull up the news real fast. So before I do the news, I want to. I just what I want to do because I recently discovered a YouTube channel, and I'm just they're like, oh my gosh, amazing, so much fun. How ridiculous! It's three guys from Australia, and they just do all kinds of ridiculous sports things, and it's just fun. So I'm just if you want to watch something just fun and wholesome and just all right, just amazing to watch is like go check out How Ridiculous. They're really, really amazing. So either way, going into the news, the only bit of news that I could really find that kind of hunker down to what we do. And the title literally says, "Meanwhile, in another universe." If you don't catch what we're talking about, it's another Spider-Man
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
across the Spider-Verse. All
Part
right,
one.
part one. Yeah, part one. So this is gonna be interesting. All right, so
We may be actually doing an adaptation of the actual Spider-Verse comic instead of telling a story kind of like the Spider-Verse comic. I don't know.
right. So over the weekend, Sony Pictures Animation surprised fans by dropping a first look teaser at Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. The hotly anticipated sequel to the groundbreaking Oscar Golden Globe BAFTA 7-time Emmy award-winning 2018 animated feature Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So we do not have a date for this film yet. It'll probably be in 2022, obviously, hopefully. But it looks amazing. Go check it out. It's on our Facebook page, so go check that out. And it looks good. It looks good. I'm definitely looking forward to it and see where they go from there. So other than that, that's all I have in the news. Unless you have something else.
Not that I'm aware of.
Alrighty.
So I guess we need to jump into our spoiler-free section
Exactly.
of our review for Arthur Christmas.
Mhm.
This was actually my second viewing.
Okay.
It's a good movie, don't get me wrong, but it is definitely different than kind of what I'm used to.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, this is actually sounding like I didn't like the movie as much as I'm hesitating. I actually enjoyed the movie. It's just, this is not your traditional Christmas movie.
No, it's not.
There are elements of it, don't get me wrong, but this is definitely kind of a newer-ish style Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Well, and it's Aardman. You can definitely tell Aardman through and through, just the way the character designs.
Animation
And
wise.
Aardman is very hit or miss for me.
Indeed.
There's stuff of theirs I absolutely love, and stuff of theirs that I go, meh. And I actually wonder if this would have done better for me if it had been claymation. Because it's got a claymation feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just a little too smooth.
Yeah.
Because of the CG.
Mm-hmm.
That may just be me, overthinking it. But I enjoyed the film for what it is. It's a fun little movie. If you're interested in watching it, go watch it. That would be my suggestion. Other than that, Jacob?
All right. This is my first time watching it. Obviously for the show, and I had heard about the film when it came out. I thought it just kind of looked a little weird. From the trailer, I was like, I'll pass. And this came out in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Came out in 2011. Where was I in 2011? Yeah, I think it's
Jacksonville.
Well, obviously, I was in Jacksonville, of course.
Berkshires.
So yeah, I just passed it up because
Berkshire Brothers, not Berkshire.
yeah. There's two distinguishing these two companies.
There's a difference.
Yeah, don't get me started on it because I will go
I'm
into a
aware
rant
of the
about
difference.
it.
I've worked for your company. I've worked for the other half.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, first time watching it. It's interesting and be like, there's part scratching my head. It's like, what in the world's going on? There's the third act to me kind of just falls apart in some ways, and it's enjoyable. Do not get me wrong. It seems to go on a lot of tangents, and everything you're trying to fill the runtime, and it's a good film. I just think there's the structure of the film kind of falls apart a little bit at the third act, and I'll get into my dislikes, but it's a good film. I'm not going to sit here and just dog this film to death. Terrible is it? It's not a terrible film.
Mm-hmm.
It just has its problems, and its third act, to me, falls apart.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, then I guess we need to jump into the spoiler-filled section of this. Join us on the other side, and we will get to spoiling it.
Yep.
Don't forget that you can download. Don't forget that you can. Don't forget that you can listen to us record the podcast live every Tuesday over on our Facebook page, The Cellcast, our Twitch channel, The Cellcast Gaming, and on YouTube at Cellcast. Also, don't forget to join our Patreon if you would like to support us monetarily. At $1, you'll get our everlasting thanks. At our $5 tier, you can get some artwork from Jacob, and on our $10 tier, you can get bloopers for every episode we've released that I've remembered to release them for, and you can get commentaries from different movies. So come check us out over there if you would like to support us financially. Each week on Stunning and Brave, hosts Chris Cowan of the Babylon Bee and Nate Henderson of Some Boring Budgeting Job confess their privilege, spotlight stunning social media posts, and fabricate outrage, all while keeping you super woke and enlightened. They will make you laugh. That's right, you have no choice. Check out Stunning and Brave at stunningandbrave.net. Do you like Star Wars? I don't just mean the original trilogy. Along with that, I mean the prequels, the sequels, the anthologies, the animated shows, and of course, who doesn't like Baby Yoda? Well, if you've been in the fandom for any length of time, you know how toxic the fandom can get. And if you'd like to be able to discuss a galaxy far, far away in a much more positive light, might I suggest searching out The Outer Rim, a Facebook group dedicated to all of Star Wars, and check out their YouTube channel, which you can easily find at Pop Americana, which the podcast you're currently listening to is also a part of. To find that and more, check out the link in the description. Alrighty. Jumping back here.
Josh says hashtag blame Steve.
There's a lot of blame going around in this film.
He says, if you like How Ridiculous, you'll love Dude Perfect. A group of friends here in Texas that do trick shots, among other things, and they are Christians.
Yeah.
He says, Across the Spider-Verse comes out in October, he believes. I believe that's also correct. And Josh says he has a friend that hates Baby Yoda.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I think it's time to cut that friend out of your life because nobody needs that kind of negativity. I'm kidding. I am absolutely positively kidding.
oh my gosh. That is a first, Josh. I've never heard that someone actually say they don't like Baby Yoda.
How do they feel about Grogu? You don't even know what I'm talking about.
I know who Baby Grogu is. It's Baby Yoda.
Yeah, okay.
I know who that is.
Just double checking. I'm making a bad joke. Anyway, Paul in our Facebook, pauljpowers.com, in our Facebook says, have a great show, guys. And he waved and then left. But thank you for joining us anyway for a couple minutes there,
Thanks, Paul.
And our YouTube is quiet at the moment. So,
That's all right.
you ready to jump into the whole thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty.
Let's kick this in the pig.
Say that again.
Let's kick this in the pig.
I just want things to be heard. The following is a spoiler-filled review for the movie Arthur Christmas. Listener discretion is advised. Arthur Christmas was written and directed by Sarah Smith, who also directed the movie that came out this year that I still haven't gotten a chance to see, Ron's Gone Wrong.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was also directed by Barry Cook, who directed Mulan. And it was also written by Peter Bainham, who has written all the Borat movies.
Okay. That's saying something.
Yeah. So we've got Mulan, Ron's Gone Wrong, and Borat. That actually explains quite a lot.
It does. It quite does.
Getting into the cast, we've got James McAvoy playing Arthur. And along with playing Professor Xavier, or young Professor Xavier in the X-Men movies, he was also Mr. Tumnus in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which I keep forgetting about every time, that's actually him.
Yeah, that was one of his very early roles.
Oh, yeah. You got Hugh Laurie playing Steve, and he was Dr. Gregory House on the TV show House.
All his diagnoses are so weird.
Bill Nighy played Grand Santa, and he played Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
That he did.
Jim Broadbent played Santa, and he played Professor Kirk in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Imelda Staunton played Mrs. Santa, and she played a villain probably more worse than Voldemort in Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh.
Dolores Umbridge. The person that everyone hates.
That is true. If you read the books, even worse.
Yes. Ashley Jensen played Bronny, and in How to Train Your Dragon, she played Fleema the Fierce.
Fleema the Fierce. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who that was.
Me either.
But I couldn't pass up Fleema.
Yeah.
I
Fleema.
remember more of a phlegm.
Yeah.
Phlegma.
Fleema.
I've been dealing with phlegma all week. Mark Wooten, who played Peter, the brown-nosing elf.
Oh, yeah.
He played a character named Mr. Poppy in something called Nativity 3, Dude, Where's My Donkey? I want to know what this is.
Exactly. Dude, where's my donkey?
But with a name like that, it's like, I have to mention this one.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm curious. Is it animated?
It looks animated. I'm wondering what Nativity 1 and 2 are.
Okay, we might have to review that at some point.
We will have to be looking into that one.
Yeah.
But
Just if it's good or bad, whatever, review it.
Laura Linney was the voice of the North Pole computer. And in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows,
Okay.
I believe is the second
The Bayverse.
the Bay Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
She played Chief Vincent.
Chief Vince. Oh yeah, that's right. She's the one who gives the turtles their honors at the very end of the film.
Eva Longoria played Chief De Silva, which I believe was the politician that tried to shoot Santa, tried to shoot the sleigh down.
Oh yeah.
She played Gabrielle Solis in Desperate Housewives. That's
Ah.
probably what she was most famous for.
That's right. Yeah.
Ramona Marquez played Gwen, the child who didn't get. the
Oh
bike.
yeah, poor little Gwen.
And in the movie The King's Speech, which came out right before this, she played Princess Margaret.
Okay.
And Michael Palin, who is the voice of Ernie Clicker, which I believe was the guy with the used cars they stole the deer sign from.
Oh yeah, the sort of that that.
Yes. He's, of course, a member of Monty Python, and I couldn't exactly just post one
Yeah,
role of
there's a
his.
lot of Monty Python.
I couldn't even just do... I wanted to do Monty Python and the Holy Grail just to make Francisco of the Retro Rewind podcast mad, but I couldn't just say one character. It's like he plays 30 characters, so...
True.
Or tons of them, anyway.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's the end of the cast list. Our Kingdom Hearts connections for this week. None of them were in the cast.
Wow. Okay.
But Brian Adams, who was a lighting and compositing artist in this movie, was a digital artist in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Really?
Jerry Smith was a lighting artist both in this and Kingdom Hearts 3. And Jonathan Williams was a cellist in both movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you went that
That was
deep.
the best I
that
could
is
do.
That is good. Good job.
Oh, also, not just Kingdom Hearts. He was also a cellist in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So
Bravo.
I hit all of the things I was supposed to hit.
Nice. Good job.
And I had to dig deep to get it. That was the worst I've had to dig. Where it didn't just come up empty completely. But yeah, that's what I got for Kingdom Hearts Connections. Jacob, what do we
All right.
got in info and stuff?
All right, info and stuff. So if you're desiring to watch Arthur Christmas, I want to say Arthur and stuff, but that's my segment. Arthur
Arthur and
Christmas.
stuff.
Arthur and stuff. So if you want to watch Arthur
That's
Christmas,
got to be the name of the Aardvark. Arthur the Aardvark.
Yeah,
Christmas
exactly.
special.
Go-
Arthur and stuff.
All right, so if you want to watch this movie legally, go watch it. Go if you are a subscriber to Hulu, you can go watch it there. And also they also do Disney does a bundle with them. It's a really good deal. If you haven't jumped on that, if you want to, go do it. So IMDb has a 7.1 out of 10. Production was done by Sony Pictures, Columbia Pictures, and Aardman Animation. Because obviously you're watching this. Obviously, it is a very much an Aardman animation, very much, except it's CG instead of claymation.
Well, I mean, they that's claymation they think is going to be too expensive for the
Yeah.
production.
And I can see why with this one.
Yeah, especially with the S1.
Yeah, definitely with the S1. That is just freaking amazing. All right. So it's distributed by Sony Pictures. Its release date was November 11th, 2011 in the UK, and the 23rd of that same month in the United States. Box office. This, like, looking at these numbers, it's kind of sad. Let's just say that. So if you take into account marketing and promotion, just keep that in mind when you hear the total gross for the
And you said this was December 23rd?
November.
November. Okay, so it didn't have the whole month. Sorry.
Yeah, it didn't have the whole month.
In my mind, it only had like 2 days before Christmas. Which
No,
was
this is
stupid,
it's November, so it has the rest of the month. All right, so it had a budget of $100 million estimated. Its opening weekend was $12 million here in the United States and Canada. Think about that. $11 million in the United States in 2011.
That is sad.
That is really sad. All right, so its U.S. and Canada gross altogether was $46.4 million. This thing tanked domestically. Tanked. And it only gets worse. So worldwide gross was $47.4 million. It didn't make anything back. In between marketing, promotion, everything, doing tours, the whole bit, I guarantee this movie didn't make... If it made anything, it probably made something back in its Blu-ray and DVD and digital sales. Maybe.
Well, I have heard this has gotten a bit of a cult.
And I could see why.
After the fact.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. So speaking of home release, Arthur Christmas was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and Blu-ray 3D. Remember, that was a thing back in 2012.
Blu-ray 3D.
Yeah, I have a few Blu-ray
Oh, I do
3Ds.
too.
I think most people do. If you have a
If you have any collection, sometimes it was cheaper to buy the 3D version because that's the one that had all the features you wanted.
exactly. All right.
Like I bought before I got a 4K Blu-ray player because it had the stuff I wanted.
Mm-hmm. All right. So those came out November 6th, 2012 in the United States. And no, that is weird. Okay. So it came out in the United States first, but then it was released in Britain last. When it was released to theaters in Britain first, then it came over here last.
That is odd. I'm not
That
sure
is
why
odd.
that would be.
I don't know. Maybe it was Sony's distribution. They
Could be some deal they had. It's easier for Sony to release here first and then in Britain later. I don't know.
exactly. And
Probably had something to do with how they release in Europe.
that is true. And also, there's no sequel far as I can
No,
find.
it's not.
Yeah, and plus, be like, what would you do it over?
Yeah, that's the thing. This was definitely a one and done film.
Yeah, kind of like some films that should have said one film.
Such as.
Oh, let me think.
I'm just curious where you're
Jaws.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, Jaws should have stayed one film, or The Matrix should have stayed one film.
You say that a year of fourth movie's coming out.
Yeah, that is true. I'm looking forward to it, but if you watch the other Matrix films, they were kind of a letdown.
Since you're bringing up The Matrix, I should point out that our friends over at the Retro Rewind podcast Matrix this month.
They are.
And we nearly got to I nearly got to be on one for the Animatrix, but he was wanting to do that during Thanksgiving week while I was out of town.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I'm not on that episode.
That makes sense. All right, so that is all I have for info and stuff.
So we need to jump into summary.
Yes.
Almost forgot where I was going. Instead of a single individual, Santa Claus is a hereditary title belonging to gift givers that have been carried out for many generations. The current Santa, Malcolm Claus, is heading his 70th mission, but his role has largely been reduced to that of a figurehead. Although the traditional sleigh and reindeer were used in the past, they have now been replaced by the S-1, a high-tech vessel operated by hundreds of elves that used advanced equipment and military precision to deliver presents to children. The complex Christmas operation is managed by Malcolm's son Steve from underneath the North Pole, while Malcolm's younger son Arthur answers the letters to Santa. During one of the delivery operations in Poland, a toy is accidentally activated, waking a child and nearly revealing Santa. A tense escape operation ensues, during which an elf aboard the S-1 leans on a button, causing a present to fall from the supply line and go unnoticed. Another elf named Brian Shelfley later finds the missing present, a wrapped bicycle for a little girl in Trelew, Cornwall named Gwen, whose letter Arthur had personally responded to. Steve argues that one missed present out of billions is an acceptable error, citing this year's Christmas as the most successful in history. Malcolm's father and predecessor, Grand Santa, whisks Arthur away to deliver it in Evie, the old wooden sleigh that is pulled by the descendants of the flying reindeer. Briny joins in, but they get lost on 3 different continents, lose several of the reindeer, and encounter many other obstacles, ultimately being mistaken for aliens and causing an international military incident. Arthur learns, to his disappointment, that Grand Santa only wants to fulfill his ego. Malcolm is indifferent to the missing present, and Steve refuses to help them because he believes Arthur's efforts could undermine his attempt to become the next Santa. It did that thing again where I can't see some of it. Hang on. I should just read it from here from now on.
Go for it.
But anyway. Finally, stranded on an island in Cuba, Arthur becomes disillusioned with his family and nearly gives up. However, he realizes that so long as the gift is delivered, the Santa Arthur looks up to exists in the hearts of children and recovers his resolve in the sleigh. Meanwhile, the elves grow increasingly alarmed at rumors of the neglected delivery that causes indifference, sending them into a panic. In response, Malcolm, Margaret, and Steve take the S-1 to deliver a superior present, only for Malcolm to get the address to the wrong child, and Steve proves to be bad with children. Arthur and his company reach England but lose the remaining reindeer. Furthermore, a predator drone scrambled by Chief De Silva of the UN intercepts and opens fire on the sleigh, believing it to be an alien spacecraft. Grand Santa sacrifices Evie, while Arthur and Bryony parachute to the ground. All four male clauses ultimately arrive at Gwen's house before she awakens, only to have all but Arthur quarrel about who gets to actually place the gift. Noticing that only Arthur truly cares about the girl's feelings, the elder clauses collectively realize that he is the sole worthy successor. As a result, Malcolm gives Arthur the honor, and Steve, recognizing his own shortcomings, forfeits his birthright and acknowledges his brother's worthiness to take up the mantle. Gwen glimpses a snow-bearded Arthur in a wind-buffeted sweater just before he vanishes up into the S1. As a postscript, Malcolm goes into happy retirement with Margaret where he also becomes Grand Santa's much-desired new companion and plays Arthur's board game with him for many happy hours. Meanwhile, Steve finds true contentment as the chief operating officer of the North Pole. Bryony is promoted to vice president of Wrapping Pacific Division. The high-tech S1 is rechristened Evie in honor of Grand Santa's old sleigh and refitted to be pulled by a team of 5,000 reindeer led by the original 8. For some reason I do not understand. All of whom returned home safely. Arthur happily guides the entire Enterprise as Santa Claus the 21st. Getting into the trivia for this first one is a trivia I came up with myself because I wanted to point this out. Arthur Christmas came out in 2011, while another movie that we've talked about and reviewed, actually a series of specials that we wanted more movies of, came out in 2008 and 2009.
Thanks, Disney.
Prep and Landing.
Yes.
Which I suspect, I have no proof, but I suspect some aspect of the North Pole's design and how the elves worked might have been inspired by Prep and Landing, but I have no proof of this.
It makes sense. That's the first thing I thought when I watched this film.
Oh, yeah. Steve Claus, when he enters Gwen's house, he steps on a small toy which makes a distinctive ba sound. This is a Shaun the Sheep toy. Shaun the Sheep was a television show produced by Aardman Productions, the same company who made this movie. The creators decided to approach the character design and the ideas to make them feel British and quirky, not airbrushed or appealing. Appealing is the word they used here.
Yes, appealing.
They were trying to stay away from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Screenwriter Peter Bainham, born in Cardiff, Wales, included a reference to an obscure bit of Welsh history in his script, with Mimosa Avenue in Trelew. In 1865, about 150 Welsh immigrants sailed on the ship Mimosa to Patagonia, Argentina. They founded a town called Trelew, which there is now a street where there is now a street called Mimosa after the ship. Bainham postulated an avenue by that name in Trelew, Cornwall, to complete the confusion between the two locations. And of course, we also know there's a third in the movie of a Mimosa Avenue in Trelew, Mexico. Why is there a Mexican named town named Trelew? That's not even a British Mexican word. It's not even Spanish.
Yeah.
But anyway. In the delivery scene in the beginning of the movie, one of the elves puts down a wrapped railroad track in front of him as he is riding on the train. This is a reference to a scene in The Wrong Trousers, one of the Wallace and Gromit shorts, where Gromit does the same thing in the Penguin Chase. There was discussion over what differing time zones meant to the story before the sun comes up deadline imposed in the plot of the movie. The idea of kids being awake in Australia while it's night in the United States was troubling. They ultimately decided that for kids, Christmas is nighttime all over the world. I have more opinions on this here in a minute.
Yeah, just a bit.
David Tennant was the original choice for Arthur Christmas.
That makes sense.
He could have done that pretty well. At about the 53-minute and 26-second mark, in the North Pole Mission Control Room, while various international news outlets are broadcasting about the aliens, one of the monitors to the right of Steve is showing the cloud snowman that Grand Santa had earlier made while flying in the sleigh. Only it has now since morphed into a more sinister-looking alien figure. I missed that.
Yeah.
But that would be funny. But that's what I've got in the trivia for this. My first like for this movie is
Okay.
actually the logistics of the Santa Claus operation.
Indeed.
Because that's one of the things I enjoyed about Prep and Landing, to bring
Yeah.
that up. But the whole how it was set up, how it used to be set up, lore in this as to how the Santa Clauses work
Mm-hmm.
and how they get presents around the world in, I'm going to say 12 hours for the sake of how this movie is set up. More on that here in a minute,
Right.
because it's not 12 hours.
No.
But and the fact that you've got a whole department directed to writing letters, answering letters to Santa, despite the fact I don't think those letters ever get back to kids,
No.
because I can't tell you any person I've ever met that ever got a letter back from Santa.
I've heard of like parents. I've heard of people writing letters back to kids who wrote letters to
Right.
Santa. So I've heard of things like that, but it's an interesting aspect. But then you logistically you have the problem of, okay, now you can track where this envelope came from and find out where Santa actually is.
Well, I mean, there's an easier way to do it.
Google.
No, just when Santa could just bring the letter with him instead of mailing it back.
That is true. Just drop it off.
Yeah, when he
That makes
drops off
sense.
everything else.
That makes sense. And plus, logistically, there's some problems with be like, okay, yeah, I'll get to those in a little
yes,
bit.
we'll get
Let's-
to that in a minute. But
yes.
the in general, the way the lore and the logistics of the entire
Oh, yeah.
operation worked, I thought was interesting, including the old communication method to Evie with the
Oh, gosh.
flag display.
Yeah.
and that stuff was like, okay, that's funny,
That was funny.
and how it pissed off the Lions.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's my first like.
My also would be the technical advancement they've done with the package delivery and the logistics of delivering all these packages, all these children all over the world in one night. And they come up with this very unique idea of doing, okay, let's make E1, is it E1?
S1.
S1, a very large like saucer spaceship.
Well, I mean, it would have to be pretty big to hold all those presents
Indeed.
and all the elves required to deliver
That
them.
is true. The logistically it makes sense, and plus how they implemented it, going over the town, making it look like it's a starry night.
Yeah, at the
Well-
last minute to keep so that she wouldn't wake up too early.
Yeah, there again, logistical problems with that. So yes, be like I thoroughly enjoy how they mechanically did everything. Yes, it has that reminiscent of the show we just reviewed,
and Landing?
Prep and Landing. Thank you. Which again, thoroughly enjoy those shorts. Go watch them in our directories if you want to, or listen to them in our directories. Yeah, I was trying to clarify to our audience. But logistically, just how they did it is incredible. Be like you're working at this like fast. You're like logistically it'd be almost impossible unless you're going at
Yeah.
2 times the speed of light in order to to do this.
Well, I'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, just logistically how they do mechanically and systematically is just incredible. I was like, wow, they took Prep and Landing and just ballooned it out, and it's just incredible how they do it. How everything's executed. Let's use a better word, executed in this. So yeah, that's my number one.
My second like is the character of Arthur.
Okay.
He is just so much of a pure character.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is make Christmas perfect for every child on earth, which is what you would want in a Santa Claus character.
Right.
Because you look at everyone else, and it is a comedy of errors
Right.
in everything they're going. Steve's got the logistics down pat.
Mm-hmm.
He's not good with kids.
Yeah.
He is looking at it purely from a business point of view. He gets it done, and you really need that. And honestly, if Arthur took over complete control of the entire operation, it would not happen. He needs Steve.
Yeah, I would agree.
And the fact that but Arthur by himself he just wants everything to be perfect, and he can't understand why everyone else seems to be fighting him over this.
Yeah.
And admittedly, Steve's kind of right, because it's like he's got it he only missed one person. That's statistically very, very good.
That's very good.
But we're talking about Santa Claus.
Right.
It needs to be perfect
Mm-hmm.
in order for the myth to continue.
Right.
So, yeah, I really didn't. Arthur's the one who understands it. He understands it's not about the actual Santa who's actually got the title of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It's about the idea of Santa Claus,
Mhm.
keeping that going. So, yeah, Arthur is my favorite character in this movie, so I'm going with that.
Okay. So one of my favorite, and it actually reminded me of a verse in scripture, and I'm bringing it up right now. All right. So in love it when I can't read something.
Hang on.
Sorry.
Where am I reading?
Just the book. What's the book number? Say
Ecclesiastes?
yeah.
Ecclesiastes 12?
Ecclesiastes 12. Thank you. I get tongue tied and I can't read some of those.
Ecclesiastes is a hard word.
Yeah, yeah. That. Sorry. But either way, this one just popped in my head, and it fit perfectly. Starting in verse 8, vanity is a vanity, says the preacher, all is vanity. So that popped up watching this movie of the Grandpa Santa, the current Santa, and Steve. You have these three characters who are so consumed with being Santa Claus. The grandfather Santa, or Grand Santa as they call him.
Grand Santa's what they call
Grand
him, yeah.
Santa. His is more like he wants to show everybody he can still do it, even though there's a past issue, which there again we'll get into later. There's a past issue that it comes up. There is the current Santa who still believes he can do everything, even though he's most likely past his prime, and he's unwilling to let go of the title, even though Steve is very qualified to it. Steve, like Drew said, he's he's got the system down. He's got the business side of it done. In one scene, it shows he's not very good with kids. Now that's something that can be learned, but at the moment it's not. It's this idea of vanity that I have to be this. I have to be this, and then you have little Arthur, who is the guy who's kind of pushed aside, be like, you're the second born. Oh, we're going to put you in mailing because you seem to screw up everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there again, Arthur has his pure heart. He just wants everything to go right. He believes in all the mythology of Santa Claus, that his father's going to stay up all night worrying about this one present, which in truth, the father he's gotten up in age. He's at that age of retirement, and he's had the vanity still there that he can still do it. And he's completely that his father just be like, oh, okay, we missed one child. I'm going to bed. And I'm going to tell Arthur this because that's. And I love that contrast of all three of these characters who are being incredibly vain about being Santa. They have to be Santa. They have to be Santa. And then you have little Arthur, who is just the guy who truly believes that wants children to have the present they deserve. There is just this innocence about it, and he's not corrupted by the vanity or the pride of wanting to continue the wearing the suit.
Right.
And so I like that about Arthur. Arthur is a pure heart kind of guy, and like you said earlier, that he is he's grounded in the mythology. He's excited about Christmas, where everyone else has can become cynical about it, and it's all mechanical.
It's all about the job.
It's all about the job. Get the job done. Be like, let's start over next year. So yeah, I enjoy the idea of be like, yeah, all three of these, the past, current, and future Santa. So allegedly the future Santa are so vain on the job and the mechanics of everything that they've forgotten their first love, which is the joy of bringing Christmas or gifts to children. So I found that very entertaining.
So my third like is very much like your second.
Mm.
And that is the realism of the three Santas.
Oh yeah.
Because, I mean, you've got Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Steve wants the role because he believes it's his birthright. He believes he deserves it. He's put in all this hard work. He's the one who deserves to be Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
What he's missing is the fact that he's got the business down. He doesn't have the heart
Yeah.
for what Santa's supposed to be.
Indeed.
Then you've got current Santa, who is so worried about who he is if he's not Santa Claus that he doesn't want to give up the title.
Yeah.
Everyone else apparently does 70 missions and then retires.
Yeah.
This was his quote-unquote 70th mission,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't want to give up the title. He's ready for 71.
Oh yeah.
Everyone, and that's one of the things that makes Steve mad, is because he thinks he's being snubbed for the role again.
He's being passed again.
over because his father's, he obviously is beginning to believe is a dullard and stupid and doesn't know what he's doing. Won't get out of his chair. Get right down to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you got Grand Santa. Grand Santa is the Santa Claus who's already done it. He did it, well, back in his day.
Yeah.
He did it with sleigh, 11 reindeer, and a half-drunk elf he lost over Geneva.
Oh my gosh.
In the middle of World War II. Now, granted, props to Grand Santa for continuing to deliver Christmas presents during World War II.
Yes.
I give you props. It's not, the times have changed a lot.
Yeah.
Since World War II.
Indeed.
You don't even know when you were delivering, all the toys were little wooden ducks and tin trucks and
right.
Little baby dolls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, while bikes and electric trains were in the S1 that we saw, there's also PlayStation 3s, considering the year this came out.
Yes.
And Xbox 360s and games and stuff that probably the elves did not build. They probably had to have deals with, I don't know, Sony, the makers of the film, in order to get their shipment. I'm not saying that they didn't, there wasn't some money tied behind the thing, but it's amazing how we got all this nice behind the scenes footage by Sony when I'm sure they needed plenty of PlayStation 3s. But anyway, I might be reading. I'm having too much fun reading into this.
Oh, yeah. I actually own a PS3.
I'm just going with what year this came out, because this would have been before PS4.
That is
while
true.
the PS3 was starting to become in vogue again.
Very true.
Anyway.
All right. So,
but I mean, these characters they're real.
Yeah.
They're not. I hate to use the term they're real characters, because technically they're all real characters, because they're all characters.
Yeah.
They're as real as fictional characters can get.
But they come across.
But these feel like they're 3D. They're three-dimensional.
Yeah.
They're not just. They could have easily just had one guy be the cranky one, one guy be the delirious one, and one guy be the super serious one. No, they actually made them all characters, three-dimensional characters who had feelings, and they all three had to come to the decision, I'm not meant to be Santa.
Right.
Grandpappy had to realize he's too old for the role. Regular Santa had to realize it's time to retire. And Steve had to make the decision, I don't know what to do with kids. I don't need to be the one who's the face of Santa Claus. That's going to be a hard decision for all three of them to finally make at the end of this movie.
Agreed.
And to give it to Arthur, the only one who actually really cared about Gwen and any of the children.
Right.
At least at this point. But yeah, that's my third like, is the fact that they're three-dimensional characters.
Yeah, agreed.
Everyone else, on the other hand,
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, we'll get that in dislikes.
yes.
My third like is Arthur's passion. Arthur's passion for, I know I brought it up in my second like, but to reiterate the idea that our main character is this, I guess he is very like he's very naive about the world. He's very naive. He's very much be like, oh, I like Christmas. And be like, oh, this card. You know, that was hard to really pull that accent, but
Yeah.
either way. So
You don't have a very good. No, that's Scottish. Never mind.
that's very Scottish.
I apparently can't do Cockney either. I'm
But-
sorry, I went straight into my Scotty from Star Trek. You cannot change the laws of physics, Captain. You can't deliver these Christmas presents all around the world in one night, Captain.
Don't tell me what to do.
Somehow the time zones have all been disrupted, Captain. There must be some disruption in the time-space continuum.
Oh, bother. Yeah, so it's Arthur's passion, his goal, his direction. Unlike everybody else around him, it's be like, hey, this is a job. This is be like, hey, I've got to get this one present to Gwen because she got left out. And I just found it very appealing that Arthur had this desire and passion, even though everybody was telling him, hey, dude, just give up. Be like, we can literally ship the present to her in 5 days. It will be no problem. And everybody else is like, this is not a problem. But Arthur, he's so gory and it's so driven by this that he literally ropes, Grand Santa into it. Was it Grand Santa who roped him into it, or was
it
it?
was kind of a mutual.
It was mutual roping, and
Santa found out about it and decided, aha, I'll show them how they really should be delivering all these Christmas presents in one night.
yeah, my vanity cries out, I must do this one more time to prove how great a Santa I am.
And how great the old ways were doing it instead of being a postman in a spaceship.
This spaceship, very true.
That's how he worded it.
Yeah, that is true. That's how he worded it. So yeah, I just be like Arthur's passion. I really enjoy that, his enthusiasm, his desire to go to the very, like, to continue on, even though he's brought down by the disappointment of the delusion he's had about his father and his family, the whole bit. But then he finds that passion again to deliver the package to Gwen, and I thought that was very appealing. So that is my number 3.
So my first dislike is going to sound odd that I'm bringing this up as a dislike because we've talked about how nice it is to see Prep and Landing expanded out to a full movie. The problem is I wanted it to be Prep and Landing and not this movie.
Yeah, indeed. Yes.
That's the problem. I'm not going to say that this movie stole from Prep and Landing.
Yeah.
Honestly, how do you prove that? They both took a similar idea of using the operation of getting Santa Claus, getting all the presents delivered.
Right.
Prep and Landing still kept Claus mythos intact with the sleigh and everything. This one took it a little bit farther by going completely with the spaceship
Indeed.
and everything. But the elves, if you're going to do something similar to Prep and Landing, which I think did it so well, you need to have your elves a step above a mindless robot.
Indeed.
And you get right down to it. The only elf we really get to know is Bryony, and she is so obsessed with rapping
Oh gosh.
that I honestly wonder if she has a problem.
Yeah. I would
Peter
agree.
is brown noses the whole time.
Oh good. No.
And when they just barely mention only it's not important, this child was not important.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not what any of them were saying. It's
Right.
just it got said wrong, and then the rumor starts spreading. They all went absolutely
That is true.
and stupid. It's like they never realized maybe we're reading too much into this. I understand you got mob mentality and that does great weird things.
It
to
does.
people,
It does.
but these seem like they were two dimensional. Nearly every single one of these the elves was two dimensional.
Yeah, there was really no character
And
to
the
them.
thing is, they make up 90% of the cast.
That is true.
I just wish they would have done a little more with making these characters a little more three-dimensional. It's hard to say that when these characters are all essentially extras,
Yeah.
with the exception of Peter and Bryony.
Right.
But they don't do enough with those characters to make all the other elves that they represent as
Right.
major characters in the film to make them feel more than just robots that have just a little bit more feeling to them.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
That does make sense.
And so I just wish they had done a little bit more with that, and especially if you're going to have this whole, and to some degree, it does still feel a little too prep and landing for me. They changed some stuff. Don't get me wrong. If they were copying,
Yeah.
but it's not changed enough. I don't know how you fix it at this point, other than you just go with it. Maybe this was just something that happened to occur at the same time, like because you see that happen with movies sometimes, where two movies will come out almost the same time with the same idea.
Right.
Just slightly differently from two different companies, and you wonder how they came out at the same time
Yeah.
without there being some collusion,
Yeah.
someone trying to steal from somebody else. But maybe this is just something like that, and it's just they started being in production at the same time, and since Prep and Landing was a short, and it was a came out on TV, so it didn't have as much lead time and polish time. It got out first.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what happened, but too close to Prep and
I would
in
agree.
that instance.
I would agree. The
And because, like we kept saying last year, we want a Prep and Landing movie.
agree indeed.
This is essentially what all we've got.
Yeah.
Not that this is bad. Do not get me wrong. It's just, it's not the Prep and Landing movie I wanted.
Yeah. When you mentioned movies that come out at the exact same time, that have almost the exact same premise, I think of White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen. It's almost the exact same story with little beats here and there that are different.
See, I was thinking Madagascar and The Wild.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Wild is the Disney movie everyone forgets exists.
That's a movie I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Madagascar. Anyway, go ahead.
That is true. All right, so going into my first is like I said before, the third act of this movie has problems. To me, it has problems. So the idea, like one, you have the government of the United States
And the rest of the United Nations.
The United Nations are claiming on Christmas morning. Let me point that out to you. Christmas morning, they are claiming that a flying object that is being pulled by what look like reindeer and it looks like a sleigh are claiming this is a UFO.
Well, I mean, they do kind of give you the idea that it's a UFO from all the other things, especially
Right.
When they steal the deer sign.
Yeah, which was stupid.
It was stupid. But I mean, that was the start of the UFO rumor, and that's what the world clung to.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't help that when they went to hiding, they turned into a UFO.
Yeah, that is true.
That did not
That
help.
did not help at all. It's like, okay, you're playing into the trope. You're playing into it. And the fact to be like the S1 looks like a space station, or looks like a UFO or something out of Star Trek.
But it's got better cloaking technology.
Yeah, apparently they got it from the Romulans or the Klingon.
More likely the Romulans.
But either way, the third act structure, like you have the first act where you understand who the characters are. You get the second act where Arthur goes on his adventure with Grand Santa. And then the third act is where he is trying to get to Gwen's house. And to me, that completely falls apart. You have the ridiculous side quests, which there again is padding out the runtime, and you really don't get to learn anything about the characters except, oh, this was how they did this and this and this. But just the third act. The third act was just ridiculous. It was like, okay, let's try to get everybody converging on this idea. Oh, let's go back to the same idea we did before, mistaking this little town in Mexico for this town in England.
Yeah.
And what was it? Not Wales, but
Trelew, Cornwall.
Trainwell, Cornwall. I
On
like that.
Wilson
That was
Street.
funny, but at the same time, it was just more. Just to me, it's just the story started falling apart, and I would have to go back and have to flesh that out. But it's just to me, the third act started falling apart because it just like, oh, okay, so now we're gonna play into the trope that's it's a UFO. Let's blow up Evie. Let's the poor reindeer. The poor reindeer in this film. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Like, oh, and they get all back safe and sound, and they're not being somehow. That just makes no sense. The grandfather's story of how he what happened in, I think, in the 40s, like how for some reason he goes out. We're never really given an explanation what happened, except maybe he be like, oh, he got spotted or something like that. And then Steve tells the father, it's like, hey, grandpa's gonna retire. And just these little things that drove me nuts. And I was like, what in the world's going on? Just now, granted, this is my personal perspective on this film. Just to me, I think I'll have to go write it out a little bit more. But just the third act to me just kind of fell flat. So that's my first dislike.
My second dislike has to deal with time zones.
Indeed, yes.
Because here's the thing. When dealing with Santa Claus,
Yeah.
you always have the question, how can he deliver
Mm-hmm.
all those presents around the world in one
Right.
night? Most people are thinking of the standard, we'll say 12-hour night, assuming 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Right.
Now, getting around the world in 12 hours, that would be tough even with magic, that's almost inconceivable.
Right.
The thing is, it's not 12 hours.
Hmm.
It's not even 24 hours. Even though that would make sense with the 24-hour thing, because it goes from 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
at the international date on the easterly side
Yeah.
side of the international date line to 7 a.m. on the western side
Mm-hmm.
of the international date line. That is 4 plus 12, 36.
Something like that.
36 hours. 36 more believable, especially when you consider not every country gets Santa Claus, because it's
Yeah.
not part of every tradition.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a part of a lot of them, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Especially with the military concept setup that they've got in this movie. I actually think you could do that in 36 hours
Yeah.
with the way with their entire setup. I think that part is very
Logistically,
very
it
believable.
works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
logistically, I can make that work in my head. The fact, though, they then limit themselves to 12 hours because they didn't want to deal with the idea of the people in Australia being awake while the people in Canada are just going to sleep.
Yeah.
And the fact they make the whole world go to sleep at one. I get you get this. It's this magical thing. You're supposed to ignore this part.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, this is a question that's been brewing in my head
Mm-hmm.
from a logistical point of view since I saw the Santa Claus back in the 90s. You know, the
Right.
one with the movie with Tim
Mhm.
Allen in it. And they brought that up. And I thought, and even, you know, no matter where on the Santa Claus belief structure you are,
Mm-hmm.
that is a legitimate question. How did one man deliver all these presents to every single child in
Yeah.
the world in one night?
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot easier when you got 36 hours and not 12.
That is true.
And there's nothing to say, since they have magic that makes reindeer fly, that they can't also do some time stretching. Either way, with the S1, that definitely should be possible.
Yeah.
Why do you have to throw in this one little complication that there are no time zones? Somehow the entire world goes to sleep at the same time, has one night, one day. That doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
That just confuses the matter even more so than if you'd have just because tell me what child at this point does not understand that there are time zones? We all have television.
Yeah.
We all I understood time zones when I was young because I had to ask, why does this say it's going to be on at 6 o'clock 5 Central? And why do we pay attention to the Central and not the 6?
True.
I understood time zones and they went all around the world at the age of 5.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a lot worse now since you have things like simulcast going all around the world on the internet.
Yeah.
Kids understand this probably better than we understood it
Probably. Yeah.
back then. Why are you now throwing in this idea of like, oh yeah, that we don't want to have to deal with that. We want them to go from Canada to Africa to Mexico to France to being lost in Cuba to them finally going to
Yeah.
England, go all around the world, and you never see the sun until morning.
Yeah. That's
No,
not the way
no,
it works.
that is not how the world works. You were so realistic with this concept from the very beginning until you hit the time zone problem, and you had a perfect excuse for the time zone problem, and you ignored it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, oh, we got to get there in 12 hours. Be like, what?
And that's the other problem. They get all the world delivered with, what, 2 hours to spare? Is what they say?
Yeah, roughly like 3 hours.
Okay. That, I'm assuming that means Hawaii,
Yeah.
which would put them... By the time Hawaii is at night with 2 hours to spare, I'm assuming that's just the westerly part of it. I know there's some other ones over there. There's a little farther, closer to the international date line. Either way, that should mean that at Greenwich Mean Time, which is what Trelew, Cornwall should be at, it's morning. They have no time to deliver this one present.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
If you would have just narrowed your scope
yeah,
to Europe and say you got Europe done all in one night, and I don't know how you do that because you still have all the Western Hemisphere to handle, admittedly, in that time period. Maybe have the S1 still delivering presents,
Yeah.
and the bike was accidentally left at the North Pole, and that's when Arthur found it, and they can't get the S1 to come back and deliver it in the next 2 hours before morning comes because they're too busy delivering presents over North America.
that makes sense.
That would make a better story.
That makes
that fixes the problem right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not what they did.
No.
Because you could still have all that happen and still have them, all 4 Santas end up in Trelew, Cornwall, especially as fast as they were delivering presents during this thing,
Oh yeah.
long before it was going to become a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, off my time zone rant. What's your second dislike?
My second dislike is an old time question that it's always be like all the good children get presents while all the bad children get coal.
Except you never hear of children getting coal.
Exactly. Now I've heard
That's
parents
apparently because the elves scan their own face when they see the naughty.
exactly
Which then that goes against the he sees you when you're sleeping,
sleeping
he
and knows when you're awake.
He's making a list, checking
It
it
twice.
Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Except the elves are cheating.
Yeah, exactly. They're cheating at the system to give every child the exact present they want. Now,
I prefer it being that Santa Claus is extending grace to the naughty kids if you're going to go ahead and give them a present.
exactly.
To, oh, we're going to have the elves cheat so that the bully still gets his present completely undeservedly, and it's just because the elves are too robotic to allow the naughty child not to get his gift.
Exactly. And then going back to our main case of Gwen is she's going to be so disappointed that she's not going to get this bike. This one bike she's asked for. And I remember as a child that going into the living room where Santa has left all his presents, and for some reason Santa'd be like, "Yeah, I got all these presents, but I didn't get what I wanted." I was like,
Santa Claus brought you a present, but it
"Yeah,
wasn't the
he
present
he
you
brought
asked
you the
for.
presents. What you be like, what Santa could afford."
Yeah, what Santa could
What
afford.
Santa could afford, which I was always grateful for. It was just more this idea that every kid got what they wanted. And I'm like, okay, it's what they want or what they desire.
That's the difference.
Yeah, that's the big difference. It's always what they want rather
Yeah.
than it's be like, is it what they need or what they desire? It's
See,
always the desire thing.
I have no problem with Gwen getting her bike.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong there.
Yeah.
Because I believe one of the things I prefer every year for everyone that says they want a white Christmas. I don't want a white Christmas. I want a dry Christmas.
Okay.
Now, not because of snowpocalypse. I never want to see snow again after that. But I want a dry Christmas so kids can go out and ride their bikes.
Yeah.
We just got for Christmas.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just this
I have
idea.
nothing wrong with Gwen getting a bike.
No.
The fact that one naughty boy got what looked like an entire Christmas train set.
Yeah, that drove me nuts. I was like, really? Really? This naughty kid.
Perhaps you should be getting a nice new pack of underwear.
Maybe something like that. And it's
That is the new coal.
yeah, that's what I would say. But there again, the elves literally cheat and give kids everything they want. I'm like, where were these elves when I was a kid? You get everything you want. And it's like, that's awesome. But that's not the way the world works.
Also, how does this work logistically? Because the presents had to have been wrapped before they left the North Pole.
Uh-huh.
So they should have already known how much presents they needed versus how much coal or
Yeah.
non what you wanted, but still.
Yeah, your
present.
deepest desire gift. But
They
then
should know the
everybody
difference.
gets
So
it.
why are they scanning the kids at the last minute?
Yeah.
They
What
should
what
know
is
already.
what is their good deeds have made them good in the last couple of days, couple of months since they wrote their letter? And there again, it's almost like a good deeds thing. Be like, have you been good? Have you been bad? It's that whole thing. Have you been a good person? Which there again in scripture that no man is good, no, not one.
not one,
Yeah. But just this idea that even the naughty kids get what they want.
Even if you go back to the coal thing
Uh-huh.
from the old traditions, that was still something they could use and would keep them warm.
Oh
for the
yeah,
winter.
absolutely.
That's why they got coal. It wasn't that they didn't. It wasn't that Santa was just being messy. Ha ha! You get coal.
Yeah.
It's nice dirty coal. You don't want coal because coal's not a toy. He still gave them something they needed.
Yeah, something that the family needed.
Which is why I'm saying the modern equivalent would be a fresh package of underwear.
Yeah, or socks, shirt, whatever.
Some nice piece of clothing. We, as kids, you hate to get it because it's not something, it's not a toy. You can't play with it.
Yeah, but it's something
put
you
up
needed.
with.
It's something
you needed.
Yeah,
That's, to me, the modern equivalent of coal.
yeah,
But at the same time, it's like, that's not what they're giving out. They're still giving out the trinkets and doodads and the things. The Dudley Dursleys of the world are still getting their crap they're going to destroy in a month.
and still going around and beating up other kids.
Exactly. Especially those with hair and lightning scars.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway.
Doesn't he get his his just desserts at the
I'm sorry, we
end?
brought up Harry Potter
Yes,
so
we
much
did.
in this episode already.
Yes, we have. But yeah, it's just the like logistic of giving children who be like, oh, you've been a good boy, or a good girl, be like, you've done all these really good things, or your parents or whatever, you've been a good citizen of the world, you get a good treat, or be like, you're a bad child and you're supposed to get coal, but there again it's more underwear now. But
the elves cheat.
The elves cheat. What the heck? It's like, oh, be like, I'm just gonna scan myself. Ever since I'm a elf and apparently I'm a good person the entire time.
Well, he only had a 64% good rating.
That is true, but he still got it was more of a headache.
Yeah,
but
it's like that's not how you handle that.
That's not how you handle it. And yeah, there again, it's the desire, what they need, what they want, and it's just And is anybody really good? No. Like, we can do good things, we can good deeds for people, but ultimately it's about self.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Be honest. And are we ultimately deserving of anything? No, we're not. It's only by the grace of Jesus Christ, death and resurrection, that we have, eternal life.
Exactly.
That's it. Like the presents are like, oh, nice bonus. Either way, that was kind of my, kind of going into theology and the baffling giving and good bad thing, I guess. What's your number 3?
My third dislike for this film, the reindeer sign that they stole. That is
gosh.
the stupidest thing they could have done in this entire stupid movie.
Just because Grand Santa wanted it.
Because here's the thing. A, the deer's not going to give you any lift.
No, it's not. It's going
From
to
a
give you
technical point of
drag.
view. It's going to give you more problems than it's going to cause.
Mm.
2, if you take the picture that Grand Santa wanted to take with himself delivering the bike with the sleigh and the 8 reindeer, the fact that one of them is gold plated is going to stand out like a sore thumb.
Exactly.
Already breaking the rule.
Mm-hmm.
You would have been better sticking the old reindeer in that spot.
Yeah.
And here's the other idea. Wait till you get to Cornwall before you try and fix it.
Yeah.
Because you obviously didn't need all 8 reindeer to get there.
That is true.
Considering how far around the world they went with 2
Yeah.
by the end of this.
There again, poor reindeer. How in the world did they get back to the North Pole and not be being custody by some government official?
I don't.
It's like
know.
why is this reindeer floating? We make no sense. Oh, it's
Along with
aliens. It's
along
aliens.
with all the aliens of the aliens, along with all the animals of the
Serengeti.
It's like, what happened to them? Are
Yeah.
they still floating? Is there an elephant flying over New York right now?
No. With an elephant, with a
With a zebra?
yeah, with a zebra. I was gonna go for more Dumbo with a feather in his
Feather in his cap. And
yeah,
seeing pink elephants on parade.
parade with a mouse.
Look out. Look out.
On
Parade, here they come. Hippity hoppity. Stupid Grand Santa.
Him and his vanity.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that the entire, I get that it's a joke.
Yeah.
And I get that it's what sets off the whole alien subplot
Right.
that humanity thinks is what's going on. Because I mean, how else are you going to explain Santa Claus not following his prescribed route, especially when he's been cloaked for the past 70, at least the past 20, 30 years,
Right.
however long the S1's been used.
Yeah.
That part's never explained.
Yeah. There's
But-
a lot in this movie that's not explained.
And plus, the S1, even when it's been turned into the EV1, does not need any reindeer pulling it.
Yeah.
Why did you put reindeer in front of it, especially now that you have, 70,000? It was unnecessary.
Tradition.
No one will see it because it will be cloaked.
Apparently, they learned nothing from Star Trek.
You don't need... The reindeer was needed for the old sleigh because that was the technology it ran on. This is like putting an internal combustion inside the carbon. It's like, oh, that's hybrid cars. I nearly said something very stupid. But it's like putting an internal combustion engine inside a ship with a warp core.
Indeed. It is
You
very frustrating.
don't need them.
But it's tradition.
You know what? If you're gonna have traditional,
Go back to an initial
no. If you're going to have reindeer on the S1 or the EV1, whatever you're calling it, from a traditional point of view, A, you only need 8,
Right.
and B, you put them in an enclosure on the very front,
Uh-huh.
and maybe you have them run together, but they don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Are there
Have them where you can see them out in front of it, but they're not actually pulling it because you have has been pushing that the S1 for years.
a warp core?
Warp core. Probably using a concentrate of what they call it, the from the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah.
that allow reindeer to fly? It's
Yeah.
concentrate of that.
Probably that.
I don't know, but you don't need the gold deer
That is true.
anymore. You needed the reindeer for the slide. Don't get free.
Right.
Do not get me wrong there. But you've already upgraded the thing, and it's a very good reason to not go back.
Yeah.
The rain and rest.
That is true.
Let them go back to being wild reindeer.
True.
What is your last dislike?
My third dislike, and it was literally my reaction to the very end of the film, was, no, what are you thinking?
I'm curious what this is.
Okay, so we get to the scene where all three Santas converge on the house, and they are all tussling, bustling of who's going to give the present, and Arthur's acting like, oh, be like, oh, we got to give a present to Gwen. And they're like, oh, he's the dude. And they're like, oh, he's new Santa. What? You're getting the job of Santa Claus to Arthur. I understand giving it to Arthur because his passion and his love and his joy and his enthusiasm for
Okay.
Christmas.
I know where you're going with this. But continue,
Okay. So,
because I have a rebuttal.
okay. So we've seen throughout the entire movie, I guess this guy has a great heart. He's got a great passion, desire to do the things of Christmas for all the wonderful children they deserve, all these amazing presents. But the guy's a buffoon.
Okay.
And let me finish. Let me
Yeah,
finish.
okay.
Let me finish. So we have this buffoon who, I mean, like, yeah, he's got the passion, he's the guy who trips over a wire and destroys things. And you want him piloting tech sleigh.
I'm going to correct a lot of what you're about to say, but continue.
Okay. I'm just like, now granted, it was more,
Get it out of your system.
Yes, let me get
it
out of my
of your system.
Okay. So
I
I
have a rebuttal.
I found it very frustrating that they made Arthur. Now, granted, he's the main character. I get it. He becomes Santa, but at the same time, you're dealing with a character who all he does is bumble the entire time. Now, does he become after this? Maybe, but at the same time, be like, to me, I think you have Steve. It's basically oh, Dad's out of the way. Now you have given Arthur. Steve's running everything to make sure Arthur is in line and make sure everything's running right. Let him be the Santa Claus, but Steve technically is running everything still. And it's just more like, what? And that was like, it was so awkward. Like, huh? What? And then it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That Steve would be the man kind of in charge, that he's directing everything and making sure everything's going right, and Arthur is just being Santa Claus. So that was I was like, what the moment? Okay, so
my rebuttal is that Arthur is not Santa Claus by himself.
Yeah.
Arthur and Steve are essentially together Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, indeed.
Arthur's got the heart, very obviously.
Yes.
And when push comes to shove, you absolutely have to do something.
Yeah.
Like a gift, a child got missed. We need to get this gift to her. It's Arthur who's going to say, yes, we need to do this.
Oh yeah, I
Steve
completely agree.
obviously is going to say, no, we did it all right.
Yeah.
If Steve were the Santa Claus would die very quickly.
Yeah.
Because the belief would go away.
Yeah.
But if Arthur were Santa Claus by himself, nothing would ever get done. And
No,
Santa
it
Claus
wouldn't.
would also die.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's
together.
yeah, that was kind of my point.
Because the point is, it's not Arthur who's Santa Claus.
No, he's not.
It's not Steve who's Santa Claus.
It's
not Malcolm who has been playing the role of Santa Claus for 70 years.
Yeah, it's a
He's
joint
not
effort.
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He might be in the suit.
Mhm.
He may have been the one delivering presents early on and then became a figurehead later. But the point the movie is getting out is it's not about who's in the suit.
Yeah.
As long as the children get the presents and the Santa Claus of mythology remains real in their hearts.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
That's the point they're getting at.
Yeah.
My problem here is that means that the kids who are writing letters to no one,
Pretty much.
because that means nobody's Santa Claus. You've got, as far as I know, none of the people you may have him being Santa Claus, being called Santa Claus.
Yeah, his
But
title.
he's not Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He's Arthur. He's
Yeah.
Arthur Claus.
Yeah.
And you got Steve Claus and Malcolm Claus and Grand Claus,
Claus.
whatever his name was.
Right.
None of them are Santa Claus. Far as we can tell, the only Santa Claus was the first one, Saint Nick,
Yeah, St. Nicholas.
which they did not show Saint Nick punching out a heretic, which I was I was not happy about.
If you're curious what that is, go look up
Go
in
look
history.
that up.
It's actually a real thing.
And it may or may not be true depending on who you talk to, but who cares? I like the idea of Santa Claus punching out somebody who was saying heretical things about, ironically, I think about Satan.
Something
Ironically,
like
but
ironically, yeah.
anyway, no, he was the guy who was doing modalism. Who, anyway,
Oh.
it's about the Trinity.
Yeah, it was
If
about
there's-
the Trinity,
If
that's
there's
right.
nothing more confusing than the Trinity,
Yeah.
we're not getting into that
You
tonight.
get yourself either punched or slapped.
Either way, that was the Santa Claus. They are just trying to keep the name alive.
Yeah.
The best way they can. And if the best they can do in the current situation is have Arthur be the heart and take the title,
Mm-hmm.
which is honestly nothing
Yeah.
in reality,
Yeah.
but him be essentially take over his father's role as figurehead, but
Yeah.
still be the heart of the matter
Yeah.
and still be the one in charge
Mhm.
ultimately, but he defers the mechanics and the logistics of the
Mhm.
situation
To his brother.
Steve,
Mhm.
who knows how to get it done, even though he's not as good with kids.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't have to be good with kids because that's what Arthur's for. That's what they're going for. The problem is there is no Santa Claus anymore
Mm.
because Santa died back in the
That's true.
20
It's
Santas ago.
yeah, it's more tradition. Now,
Right.
Here's
Which
some-
means what all the belief kids have in Santa is for nothing.
yeah, it's for legend.
Which means they should be believing in Jesus because Jesus is real.
There we go.
Jesus is the reason for the season, not Santa Claus.
Thank you. So
If you learn nothing else tonight,
yeah, there we go. So here's the point you brought up with Steve. The fact that like Steve has one interaction with a kid and it goes terribly wrong.
I mean, he does try to take the bike back.
That is true.
Which he should have done.
logistically.
He should have
It's
just
like
said,
just give the kid
okay, yeah, it's yours now. I'm going.
and then you get the chihuahua. The chihuahua. It's
chihuahua,
like the
yes.
chihuahua in that slipper. But the thing is, be like if he's Santa Claus, he's not supposed to be seen. So why would it?
Yeah, he also broke that rule.
Yeah.
That's why Steve's whole situation is based on the idea that it's all gets done in one night.
Yeah.
So he has no real way to do it when it's not done right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he wanted to send it 5 days later, which also would ruin Christmas for the kid who didn't get their present.
That is true. That is true. But the point I'm trying to get to is that Steve, like, you have one example that he's not good with kids. Okay. But the fact that, like, Santa Claus is never seen, he's never seen, never heard. So why would it matter? Be like, yeah, you want the heart, you want Arthur to be the heart of it. But why would it matter if Steve wasn't good with kids when it's just the title?
Because Steve's approach
Yeah, I get that.
is ultimately flawed. Arthur's approach is ultimately flawed, but
Together, yeah,
it's actually comes together because they're working together to be Santa Claus. Yes, the
Exactly.
title went to Arthur.
yeah. But there again, it's a
gonna
team
be
approach.
It's going to be the picture of Arthur that goes on the wall next to the other 20 Santas.
Yeah,
If Arthur's a good person, he's going to have his brother on screen with him. And I think Arthur's a good enough person to do that.
I would think
but
so.
We'll never know.
Yeah,
But ultimately, it's going to be Arthur who's remembered as Santa Claus the 21st.
yeah,
Because Santa Claus the 22nd, assumingly Arthur's kid, we don't know,
yeah,
could be a better Santa Claus, could be better than both Steve and Arthur put together.
yeah,
We don't know.
yeah,
But ultimately, what I'm getting at is that Santa Claus is not Arthur, it's not Steve, it's both of them.
yeah. It's both. And technically, you go back and say Nicholas. That's what
Because that
everyone
was the
thinks
real
of.
Santa Claus.
That's the real Santa Claus. That's what everybody thinks
From
of.
this, especially from this lore.
Yeah, definitely from this lore. So there again, it's a title that's been passed down generation to generation, and now Arthur is the figurehead or the
He literally
title.
took over his father's role as figurehead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except he's probably got a little bit more. No, he's probably got the same amount of say his father had in it.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah. And then you have Steve, who's running logistics
and apparently happy.
and happy. Apparently,
Does everyone
apparently everybody in this film's happy except for the reindeer. Apparently the reindeer have a GPS back to the North Pole.
I don't know.
I don't
They're
know.
happy.
They're happy.
That's what it said. It said they were
Everybody's happy. I'm like,
So now them and about 30,000 others are now pulling a giant spaceship
Yep.
through the sky.
yeah, that makes no
That's-
sense. That's no sense.
Uh,
There again, I wanted to say just make them mechanical reindeer, and like Drew said,
Jack
let
Frost
them-
did that.
that is
Jack Frost. No, not Jack Frost. Robo Santa from Santa Claus 2 did that. And that didn't work out very well.
no, it didn't actually.
Anyway,
Anyways,
I think that brings us to the rating of this film.
yes,
I'm giving it an 8.
okay,
It's a fun movie. I think more people should watch it.
yeah, I
This
agree.
is a good Christmas movie.
Yeah,
The issues we're bringing up, at least for me, are more nitpicks and stuff I wish they would do differently.
yeah, same here.
It's things I wish most Christmas movies would take more seriously, especially with the time zones.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it's just a fun movie.
Indeed,
It's a
Indeed.
good Christmas movie. So, what are you rating it?
I'm gonna give it 7.5. It's a little lower. I think just I let a lot of the nitpicks really bother me with this film. I enjoyed it. There were so many little problems with this thing that I found just it drove me nuts. And there again, these were great conversations we had with this movie. Am I going to recommend it? Yes. It's not my cup of tea. Not really. Ever since I do own it, Drew owns it.
I own it. I bought the thing.
Drew owns it. Never mind.
He's taking it to half price, but I do own it now.
Yeah. So would I recommend it? Yes. Would I watch it in the future? Maybe. So yeah, be like 7.5.
Hang on, I am double checking something right quick.
Go for it. I would agree with their chat with Josh. Yeah, sent his on a budget this year. Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Thanks, COVID.
Okay, I got it. Okay. So our episode. Hang on. Our next episode, we will be reviewing the original 1966 How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And our trivia question is, the singer of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, was Thurl Ravenscroft. What commercial character is he most well known for playing?
Ooh, I don't know that one.
I'll be posting that question up tomorrow morning, so answer there. We will see y'all next week. In the meantime, this has been Drew,
This is Jacob.
and we in the next frame. Come, Jacob, we must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast!
Oh boy!
So where can they find you, Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron, also on Facebook at Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where I try to draw each and every day. I don't get to it as often as I like, but I've gotten better. Join me there. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, on Twitter at Jacob Heron, and Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. So where can they find you, Drew?
You can also follow me on Letterboxd at ggeorge759, Facebook as Drew Dodgen, my Facebook page where you can see pictures I've taken at Drew's Photo Bin. You can also
I'm
follow
not
me on
getting better.
Twitter at ggeorge759.
You can email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter at cast_cell.
You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/thecellcastgaming.
You can also follow us on YouTube at
Cellcast,
Listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts,
Google Play Podcasts,
Stitcher,
Spotify.
and your favorite podcast directory.
You can also listen to us on the Movie of the Week podcast with Jim Heron, where we talk about live action movies.
No, you
and
can't.
remember, Cell is a single L.
Yes.
Who's stepping on a cat?
Ruff, 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 ruff.
The show's over. Quit making animal noises.
Hey, I'm like Jim Cummings. I can't help it.
The fun thing is I already know what I'm doing for the spoiler warning next week.
Okay.
You want a preview?
Yes.
The following is the spoiler filled review for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Something, something, something. I don't have it all written out yet. But I'll get it done before the next week's episode.
Very good.
So yeah, once again, thanks for joining us. I'm going to find us somebody to raid if you
Yeah.
want to finish this out.
Yeah, thank you guys. As you heard in the if you like us, if you like what you saw, like what you hear, please like and subscribe and share with friends, maybe 4 or 5, 10, and let
30,
us
40.
30, 40, whoever. Go share it with your cat.
Especially people who are willing to pay us on Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. So we do have a Patreon. We are working on getting things out more and more. And just those who are patrons, thank you, and thank you for your patience. And we do have a merch store, redbubble.com/
Yes, people, yes, people, please buy stuff. No one has yet.
yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a deposit yet.
We're working on it. I be like, hey,
You
I
know-
need
you
to
know-
buy merch.
You know what the sad part is? Me
Yeah.
and you have me and you
That
haven't
is
bought it
true.
either.
That is true. I need to work on that. So next week I'll be buying merch. Anyways, so yeah, guys,
when we
thank
have money again.
yes, yeah, thank you so much for staying with us throughout the show, and there again we will be reviewing the 1960
1966, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch
Stole Christmas. Yeah, to clarify, it's not the Grinch from 2000.
It's not Jim Carrey, and it's not the one Illumination did.
Yeah,
It is
It's
the
not Cumberbatch.
the original
OG.
the one directed by Chuck Jones of Looney Tunes fame. I think it was Chuck Jones.
We'll figure that out next week.
Yeah, find out next week. In the meantime, those on Twitch, I am going to raid Book of Gaming
Excellent.
because he's available and he's playing Super Mario Galaxy at the moment.
Nice.
So I'm going to head you over there. Thanks for joining us, guys, and we will talk with y'all later. I should have already hit the button so it would do the countdown already.
Exactly.
But oh well. I'll demute.
Looked a few minutes ago and see me there, and I'm like, cool.
Later, guys.
I think it went.
By the way, Mr. Minus to the T. Please stop.
I think it went.